Today, Quapaw Casino, Miami, Oklahoma.
So winter storm warnings in effect as we go through the overnight hours. Snow starting to pick up in intensity. We're going to break it down for you.
Plus, we'll hear from health experts about the risks for hypothermia and keeping folks without homes safe and warm. And how Freeman, a cardiologist, helped save the life of a local mother suffering from a rare heart condition.
4 states' most watched news starts now.
Snowfall has created dangerous conditions on 4 states' roads. This is KOM News at 10. We go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty. You've been busy here, Doug.
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy 36 hours with the rain, the sleet, the freezing rain, the snow, and then snow again for us tonight. Into tomorrow morning, winter storm warnings in effect. We even have another band of snow tomorrow night. We haven't even talked about that we could get some accumulations from. But we're going to focus on what's going on outside now and what's going to happen as we go into the overnight hours. Here's our band of sleet, freezing rain, and snow lifting out of here as we go earlier today, and then the next band of snow has been rotating in. Now, where you see the darker blues, that's where we have moderate snow. It's really going sideways because the winds are so strong, so we're getting a lot of drifting. There's segments of the road that there's no snow at all, and then you have segments that have 1 or 2 foot drifts. Heaviest snow along and south of I-44. So everybody south of Interstate 44, just moderate snow. A little bit lighter once you get into southeastern parts of Kansas, but everybody's going to continue to get snow as we go through the overnight hours. We've been working on this technology all across the nation. Radar just went out over about the past 5 minutes. We got an ice storm, snowstorm, so hopefully that pops up here soon. All right, what we have seen so far, that 4-inch line is now creeping just to the north side of the metro. So Joplin Metro is almost at 4 inches. It's impossible to measure because you have drifts. You got nothing here, you got a foot here, so I have to use radar estimates and then do the mathematical equations with the ratio, which is always fun. 2 to 3 inches, everybody else. So everybody's getting a pretty good dosing of snow. What's going to happen tonight into tomorrow, the next round? We'll break it down for you here in just a bit.
Murphy's Law with the radar, huh?
I know, crazy.
Nationwide outage?
Nationwide.
Isn't that something? All right, we'll see you in a little bit. With the extreme cold, hypothermia is a significant concern for anyone outdoors, especially the homeless. KOM's Chris Warner tells us what some of the warning signs are and how local shelters are helping out.
The extreme cold can lead to a number of medical issues, including hypothermia. Luke Spain with Cox Health says while the signs can vary quite a bit, there are key symptoms to watch out for.
Really serious signs of hypothermia are going to include things like loss of memory, fumbling things, poor coordination. People become quite self-unaware, if you will. So they're not really going to notice a lot of those things happening. So it's really important to catch those kinds of signs early.
Spain adds there are some steps you can take to stay safe if you have to be outdoors.
Wrapping up, wearing layers. The layers is really important. Wool, things that are going to keep you warm. Cover your hands, cover your head, cover your neck. Wearing a scarf, wearing a hat, wearing gloves are all really important things, and stay dry.
Spain says it's also important to know when to seek medical attention.
If you're just starting to get a little bit incoherent and you can get inside and get warmed up, that's excellent. But if you're not seeing significant changes or you're getting worse, definitely seek medical attention.
That's why warming centers like watered gardens are essential.
When the temperatures get that low, it's just impossible to stay warm outside, impossible to find shelter to keep yourself warm. Even if you got several layers of clothes and blankets, you're not going to get warm in this kind of temperatures. So this is really, this is about survival and about keeping people alive.
Watered Gardens opens their lobby when the wind chill drops below 20 degrees, and it remains open 24 hours a day until warmer weather moves in, which is something those in the homeless community like William McGully really appreciate.
It's awesome. It's real good, like on days like this where your shoes get wet and you can't get warm after you get wet.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
The Carthage Crisis Center is also open, a 24-hour warming center. Salvation Army in Joplin is open as well as a warming center during their regular hours of operation. Over at Cox-Spartan County Hospital, preparations began last week for this winter storm. Some of those plans included transforming rooms at the Medical One Clinic into bedrooms for staff who may need to stay. They've also made space in the hospital itself as well for staff who feel it may be just too dangerous to leave the hospital during this storm. Officials say they do anticipate staff staying in the hospital tonight. Communities in the northern part of our viewing area have already seen a decent amount of snow. This here is video from Nevada, Missouri, and this is video right here from Fort Scott, Kansas. The earlier round of snow and ice left behind a few inches of precip there. It's just a reminder, safest thing you can do right now is just stay off those roads. Still ahead, concerning news coming out of the job market and the work Freeman cardiologists did to save a local woman dealing with a rare heart condition. According to ADP, private employers slashed jobs in January. The payroll processor says companies cut 301,000 jobs last month. Not only is it worse than predicted, it's the opposite direction job market economists expected. Leisure and hospitality was hit hardest as COVID cases surged last month. 4 drug companies have reached a tentative deal tied to the nation's opioid crisis under the terms of the proposed settlement. Johnson & Johnson, Cardinal Health, McKesson, and AmerisourceBergen will pay $590 million to more than 500 Native American tribes. All federally recognized tribes are eligible to participate in the settlement. A local mother suffered heart attacks from a rare heart condition, but thanks to quick work from 2 Freeman doctors, she's back on her feet. KOAM's Jalen Banks has more on her story.
It started out like any other Thanksgiving morning for Kate Spencer. She woke up to her family and prepped for the evening's dinner. But then, things changed. Kate started feeling pain in her neck and chest and decided to go to the hospital.
Just hope that all the doctors are on the same page as far as knowing what it is, knowing what not to do. I think that was the scary part. So at that point, I gave my kids a kiss and I thought, I'm dying. That's it. And that's all of the goodbye I get.
Kate found out that she had a heart attack and spontaneous coronary artery dissection, or SCAD. It's a rare heart condition that can cause heart attacks and, if not diagnosed and treated properly, could be fatal. Doctors found that proper treatment meant doing something surprising.
I sat there now and they showed case after case where people had tried to fix things and that did not turn out well. And the take-home message was very loud and clear. Leave the artery alone if you can. Now, you can't always do that. 4 days later, this woman who had just delivered a baby goes to urgent care and has a cardiac arrest. And she had a spontaneous dissection the same place she did. And when I went to the cath lab, I had the same mentality, leave it alone.
Now home and healthy with her family, Kate encourages women that show symptoms to go and get checked so that they can be saved just like her. In Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
Kate is back home with her 4 kids and husbands. She says she's grateful for the work of the 2 doctors because without them, she wouldn't be here. An experimental type of immunotherapy is showing promise in the treatment of people with metastatic breast cancer. In a clinical trial of 42 women with the hard-to-treat cancer, 67% were able to generate an immune reaction by using their own tumor-fighting immune cells. The study by the National Cancer Institute casts doubt on the long-held belief that hormone receptor-positive breast cancers are not susceptible to immunotherapy. Package warnings that come with pictures could help cut down on the consumption of sugary drinks, helping reduce childhood obesity. Researchers at the University of North Carolina set up a mini mart with picture warnings on juices and sodas. They found the warnings reduced parental purchases of sugary drinks for their kids by 17%. All right, later it's National Signing Day. Going to tell you who Missouri Southern and Pitt State are adding to their rosters.
Plus, more snow coming for us during the overnight hours tonight. Let's break that down coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a nasty day for us today. We got the sleet, freezing rain, snow last night, and then, of course, a break. And then snow has been working back in over about the past 4 hours. It has been snowing. So in the past 4 hours, we have received about 3 inches of snow. The rates are picking up just a little bit. Winter storm warning is in effect tonight, then into tomorrow, including everybody across the region. We had the sleet, the freezing rain, snow last night. We got a little bit of a break, and then it came rushing back in, made it in at right about 6 p.m., and then intensities have been picking up a bit over the past couple hours. You can see much lighter snow, northern, northwestern counties. That's who's going to see the least amounts. But if you look at I-44 and south, this is intense, moderate to even heavy snow at times. A little bit lighter once you get toward Pittsburgh and Nevada, but still getting light to moderate burst across the region. Let's go into the metro. A little bit lighter for Pittsburgh, and then it picks up once you get to Joplin down toward Neosho, right down Interstate 44 to Miami, right up Interstate 49 through Carthage. And then as you get even farther south, it gets even more intense. A little bit lighter on the Kansas side, Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Fredonia, Fort Scott, a little heavier band, Parsons to about Coffeyville. Let's go into northeastern Oklahoma. Look at the intense snow down through northeastern Oklahoma. And this is lifting right along I-44, so our snow rates are really going to pick up. Very intense snow, Benton County, southern McDonald County, Berry County, Newton County, Lawrence County, all picking up moderate snow at this point in time, and it's going to continue to roll in as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, here's what we've had so far. We're combining last night's snow with tonight's snow. So 4 to 5 inches across southeastern Kansas, Nevada, and Joplin's almost at that 4-inch mark. Now, it's impossible to measure the snow because it's going sideways. You have foot drifts, 1.5 foot drifts, and then you got big areas that have nothing on it because the wind just blows it off. So we have to use radar estimates. We have to take the ratio of how much moisture is out there. I won't go too technical, but right now we're pushing 4 inches, 2 to 3 northeastern Oklahoma, all of southwestern parts of Missouri, and of course these amounts are going to go up as we go through the overnight hours. It's cold. We're sitting into the teens. Right now, we have a northerly wind at about 10 to 20, so of course that gives us wind chill factors, the way it actually feels to your skin. -1 Iola, -1 in Fort Scott, 1 in Nevada. Everybody between 0 and 5 degrees. Look at the snow. You can see moderate snow, 7th and Rangeline. Roads are covered, approaching 4 inches of snow through the metro, and let's go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Moderate snow continues over the next several hours. It does kind of back down to light to moderate snow after 3 a.m. We continue with light snow into the morning hours. Here's 6 a.m. and then we'll continue with light snow along the I-44 corridor and south through the morning hours. It cuts off on the Kansas side, and then most of the snow starts to taper off, especially by the afternoon hours. However, we haven't even talked about this. Watch what happens. So we're looking at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Real quick, I'll pull out your planner for you. You can see temperatures really don't go anywhere tomorrow. Watch this. Here comes another band of snow. This could give us 1, maybe 2 inches of additional snow as we head into tomorrow night. So we need to watch that. All right, additional snow tonight into tomorrow. An additional 4 to 7 in the blue, 6 to 10 total from this storm, isolated 12. In the light blue, an additional 2 to 5, 4 to 7 total. In the white, an additional 1 to 3, and then 3 to 5 inches total. All right, we know the roads are going to be bad tonight into tomorrow. I know all of the MoDOT, KDOT, they're all working hard out there. 20 for us tomorrow, 25 Friday. We do get into the 30s over the weekend, but snow's going to stick around for a while.
You had a lot to talk about.
Oh, and I could have gone for another 10
I know
minutes.
you could, yeah. Even longer. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Former head coach is accusing the NFL and 3 teams of racism. Brian Flores, who was fired by the Miami Dolphins last month, claims the NFL has failed to create a fair hiring process. Bradley Blackburn has the latest from New York.
Brian Flores says he is suing the NFL because it is time for change.
I think we're at a fork in the road right now. You know, we're either going to keep it the way it is, or we're going to go in another direction.
The former Miami Dolphins head coach appeared today with his lawyers on CBS Mornings. His lawsuit claims the NFL has failed to create a fair hiring process. Today, the league has 3 head coaches of color, including 1 black man. Flores believes minorities are not getting a fair shot.
And in a lot of cases are as qualified, more qualified, and quite frankly, better than their white counterparts.
In response, the NFL says diversity is core to everything we do, and there are few issues on which our clubs and our internal leadership spend more time. We will defend against these claims, which are without merit. Flores says he received a text message last month from Patriots head coach Bill Belichick 3 days before he was interviewing for the Giants head coaching position. Belichick offered his congratulations, but he thought he was texting Brian Daboll, who eventually got the Giants job.
How did that make you feel, knowing that you were walking into an interview where a decision might have already been made?
It was a range of emotions, humiliation, disbelief.
In a statement, the Giants said, Flores was in the conversation to be our next head coach until the 11th hour. Ultimately, we hired the individual we felt was most qualified to be our next head coach. Flores also accuses the Dolphins of offering him $100,000 for every game he lost during his first season to position the team for a high draft pick.
To attack the integrity of the game, that's what I felt was happening in that instance, and I wouldn't stand for it.
The Dolphins say it is incorrect to imply the team acted in a manner inconsistent with the integrity of the game. Flores says he is still hoping to coach in the NFL. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The lawsuit also claims Flores was forced to undergo a so-called sham interview with Broncos back in 2019 when then Broncos general manager John Elway, President Joe Ellis, and others showed up an hour late for his interview. Coming up in sports, going to hear from Chiefs general manager Brett Veach on the team's offseason priorities. And Pitt State and Missouri Southern football bring in local talents on National Signing Day. Jacob Leonard has that and more after this break.
Well, today is National Signing Day for high school football players all across the country. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas announced their 2022 recruiting class this afternoon. Now, that class consists of 30 players, 20 high school recruits, and 10 transfers. Among that high school group, the Gorillas are bringing in 3 local kids in Frontenac's Lane Franklin, Gerard's Brecken Troike, and Columbus High School standout Cody Schock. Now, here's Pitt State head coach Brian Wright on those 3 local kids and the importance of continuing to bring in the best local talent.
I think it's really important. You know, those guys are invested into this place, into this community, and they've been coming to Pitt State games for a long time, and they always just seem to bring something a little bit extra to your program, and it's vital that we continue to recruit those local guys. And you know, the good thing is we got to see a lot of them. We got to see them play. We saw Cody at camp all summer as well, so really got to get a good evaluation of them. And then you see Frontenac and Gerard go deep into the playoffs, and you get to see them play some extra games. So a lot of live evaluations on those guys. And, you know, again, I think all 3 of those guys will come help the Gorillas.
Missouri Southern also announces its recruiting class today. They went heavy on defense with 8 players each at defensive line and defensive back. The Lions' 2022 class consists of 37 high schoolers and 4 transfers. 3 of the high school players are local guys in Joplin's Jet Steele and Lamar's Mason Gastel and Trace Wilhite. Southern head coach Atiba Bradley actually took a moment today to talk about Wilhite and what Lamar kids bring to the Southern program.
He's a football phenom, does a great job as a off-the-ball tight end. I'm excited for Trace to bring his physicality. You know, Lamar has for a long time had a culture of toughness. And there's not a lot of difference between, I don't even know, the old school Big 8 and the MIAA. I mean, it's really good football. It's blue collar football. And Trace embodies all of that.
The Kansas City Chiefs saw their season end in the AFC Championship game last weekend. The Chiefs fell to the Cincinnati Bengals 27-24 in overtime on Sunday, ending their season and beginning the offseason. Kansas City was 12-5 in the regular season, won the AFC West title for the 6th consecutive year. Now they turn their attention to the offseason and have some big-time players who are now free agents. That includes safety Tyrann Mathieu, who's been a Pro Bowler in all 3 seasons he's played in Kansas City, also been a 2-time All-Pro. That'll be a priority, as well as the rest of the defense and really linemen on both sides.
I don't think it's far-fetched to think that we'll, prioritize, the lines like we always do, and knowing that we have a good offensive line in place, and the defensive line is probably the most makes the most sense, and through the defensive backfield and what have you. But I think the the defensive side is one that we'll probably focus on right off the bat.
Moving on now to college basketball, the Missouri Tigers trying to find a little traction right now in the SEC. The Tigers have lost 3 straight games, and they enter the day with a 2-5 record in SEC conference play. Now, Mizzou is at home against Florida this evening. The game was back and forth the entire second half, but the Tigers fall in a close one, 66-65. It's their second 1-point loss in the last week. Ronnie DeGray, the third, comes off the bench and scores a team-high 13 points in this one for Mizzou. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after this.
Goal of $35,000.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Joshua Burleson, served in the U.S. Army. He's from Pittsburgh. We are proud to thank and salute Joshua Burleson. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug, Eddie and I were talking about some good comfort food during cold weather, and your response was?
Chili.
Yeah.
Like everybody else.
And now I want chili. That does sound good.
I just ate a bowl of spaghetti during sports.
Oh, man.
It was really good.
We're going to have plenty of cold weather coming up, huh?
Yeah, the cold's going to stick around for several days. Look at the intense snow, especially along and south of I-44, the darker blues, showing us moderate to heavy snow. I'd say the winter right now is about Grand Lake and Cassville, getting the heaviest snow at about 1.5 inches per hour. And then it gets lighter the farther north you go. Through the metro, we're getting about 3/4 of an inch per hour right now. And I think we'll get near 1 inch per hour over the next few hours. So snow continues. I would say most of us in the metro, another 4 to 7 inches. So we're going to end up with quite a bit. We almost have 4 at this point in time. Temperature tomorrow, a high of only 20. We do have a band of snow tomorrow night we got to watch. It's a much smaller band, but could give us some light accumulations. Sunshine finally returns by Friday, but staying cold through the weekend.
Doug, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Be safe. Don't go out. If you don't have to, we'll see you tomorrow.